Hi friends, thank you for coming to my channel once again. For those of you that may be coming to my channel for the first time, my name is Sami Akintayo. I'm excited to have you around again. Thank you for always watching my video. I talk about studying abroad, how to win international scholarships. If you have not come across my videos before, please go through my channel and you'll see a lot of videos that are very important that can be very useful to you as you are looking for opportunity to study abroad or to win a scholarship. I've been privileged to be a beneficiary of several scholarship myself, and I give insight into how to go about applying for scholarship, how to apply to study abroad. So today, I'm going to be talking about and be giving you insight into how selection committees select candidates for scholarship or for admission into international school. The first thing you need to know is that usually there is a selection committee that is going to decide on the fate of the candidates that are applying for a program. It can be just admission, you are applying for master's admission or PhD admission, or it can be a scholarship you are applying for. Several people are competing for the same scholarship. Maybe there is a scholarship that has been announced, there a call for scholarship has been announced, and then they want to take like maybe 7 or 20 candidates, and 150 of you have applied. So a selection committee needs to sit down and decide who are the best candidates to be accepted for this program, who should we offer the opportunity. So having an insight about how this selection committee decide which candidate to select, which candidate to offer the scholarship or the admission may go a long way in helping you when you are putting your application together. So uh, there may be more specific issues that are peculiar to different programs here and there that may not be general. However, there are general things that selection committees look at in almost all situations. There are general things. So you need to master all these ones and have them at the back of your mind as you are putting your application together. So because if you know, have an idea of what goes on in the mind of the person that is going to make a decision on your application, you have an idea of what he's looking for, you have an idea of what he doesn't want, what he would prefer to see, then that gives you puts you in a better position to put together an application that will likely be convincing or will rank high on the selection committee's list. So first of all, you need to have at the back of your mind that most selection committee will rank the applications. They will rank the application. What that means is this: if there are 150 candidates that are applying for admission into a position for just 20 students or scholarship for just 10 candidates, 150 of you have applied. So the job of the selection committee is first of all to go through all the application and to rank them. And sometimes they have some software, some programs that they can use to rank them depending on how sophisticated their selection process is. Some don't use any program, some do it manually. However, the important thing first of all to note is that your applications will be ranked. Your application will be ranked. So in ranking your application and then making the decision on who to select, how high your application, your name will be on the ranking list, or how low down the list it will be, will depend on the content and the documents that you submitted for your application. So, what are the most important documents in this ranking process that will determine whether you will be high on the list of the selection committee or down at the bottom of the list? If you are down at the bottom of the list, that means your chances of getting in on the scholarship or getting into the admission is very limited. So uh, there are three important documents that I will talk about in this video, which you must keep in mind. The number one document is your academic record, which is indicated by your transcript of records. That is the number one document. The second document is your letter of motivation. Most programs will ask you to submit a letter of motivation. Some other programs may call it a statement of purpose or a personal statement. Whichever way, they all have the same purpose, the same goal that they want to achieve with it. Whether it's called statement of purpose, a motivation letter, or a personal statement, they are trying to achieve the same purpose. And what purpose are they trying to achieve? They are trying to understand why you want to be a candidate on this program, why they should select you, why you think you are a best fit or a good candidate for the program or for the scholarship. So that is what a motivation letter, a statement of purpose, or SOP as it's shortly called, or a personal statement is about. And the third document that is also equally important is your recommendation letters. Almost all admission process or scholarship selection process will require recommendation letters. So your recommendation letters are also go a long way in determining whether you will be accepted for the program or you will be awarded the scholarship. So I will start with your academic record. Your transcript of record or transcript of academic record is very important. If some programs will ask you to submit an official copy of your transcript of record during the application process, some will say a student copy or unofficial copy is sufficient. And the important thing is this: if it is required, make sure you submit it. Make sure you submit it. If your transcript of record is required as part of your academic, part of your application document, which will almost always be required, either the official one or the unofficial one, make sure you submit it. If you don't submit it, your chances of being accepted is very, very minimal. Extremely minimal. Because by the time a document is missing in your application package, it sends you down the list. They have several other candidates that their documents are complete, and they can't even pick all of them yet. Now they have a candidate whose document is not complete. You know you are at a disadvantage already. So by default, you are going down the list on the ranking, on the selection. In fact, in some cases, if an important document that is required is missing, your application is automatically thrown out. You are not considered at all. So it gives the committee less work to do in the selection process. So make sure you submit your transcript of academic record if it's required, which is usually required. Make sure it's submitted. If they require official copy, submit the official copy. If they say, okay, it's okay, you can submit an unofficial copy, that is also good. Submit an unofficial copy. Just make sure it is submitted. And sometimes, if it's an official copy that they require, they give you some schools or some program may give you a specified date when that transcript of record must get to them. Please make sure it gets to them within that date. Don't let it go beyond the deadline. Some programs automatically will knock your application off the list if your transcript do not get to them by the specified date. So you want to make sure you do that about that. So the number two thing is your motivation letter or the SOP or statement of purpose or personal statement. Now I'm going to put more emphasis on this document. And the reason is simple. In your application process, this is the main document that you have influence on. Your transcript of record, you don't have any influence on it. You cannot change your past academic record. You already have them. So there is nothing you can do about them. In the application process, you simply submit your transcript of record. You can't change it. You can't add to your score. You can't remove from your score. You can't increase your score. Okay. So there is nothing you can do about that. But there is a document that you can do everything about, and that is your motivation letter or your SOP. And that is where you need to invest your effort in the application process. Usually, the selection committee want to see what is the reason, what is your motivation, what inspires you to apply for the program or to apply for the scholarship. They want to know why you want to be on that program. They want you to convince them why you are the best or the right candidate to be selected for that program. So in other words, your motivation letter or your SOP is you selling yourself to the selection committee. And if you don't sell yourself well, there are other candidates that are going to sell themselves very well to them, and they are going to rank higher on the selection committee's list. So you need to put effort, thought, plan into writing your statement of purpose or your motivation letter. I have made a video that is already on my YouTube channel. You can view it. Top tips for writing an outstanding motivation letter or statement of purpose. I will encourage you to watch it. I give detailed tips on how to write a motivation letter that will stand out, that will make your application to rank very high. So you need to give thought, effort, plan to it. You need to research how to write a motivation letter. You can read a few good samples on the internet. The good thing is that there are several samples of motivation letter and SOP on the internet, good samples that you can read and get an idea of what you should write, how you should compose your statement, how your opening statement should look like, what should be in the body of your motivation letter, how you should end it, what are the important things that must not be missing, what are the key points that you must nail in. Okay, basically you are trying to sell yourself to the selection committee. Don't forget that is your goal in your motivation letter or your statement of purpose. Like I have said, give thought to it. Don't try to write your motivation letter in a single swoop, because ideas usually come in B's and B's. So I usually suggest that take like 1 week or to 2 weeks to write your motivation letter. Write some parts now. If you are tired, leave it for a while. When your brain, your ideas are fresh again, come back to it, continue it. And when you finish writing it, leave it for like 1 day or 2 days, go back to it. You find out that you see something that you feel, oh, I should have written this way, or I should rearrange this point should come ahead of this one, or no, I should change this to this, or this to that. Okay, so that is the importance of not rushing. So don't wait till like 1 day to the deadline or 2 days to the deadline before writing your motivation letter. Write it ahead so that you can have time to go through it. And if you have a trusted person that is also intelligent, that can also sound out your English, your point, let them review it for you before you submit your motivation letter or statement of purpose. And the final document I'm talking about in this video are your recommendation letters. They are very important. In fact, some selection committee will give scores to your motivation letter and your recommendation letters, as well as your academic record transcript. So you want recommendation letters that are very good. For most academic programs, universities and programs prefer recommendation letters from academics. That means your former professors, people that have taught you, because the universities or the program believe they will be able to talk about your academic ability, which is what is important for them in making their decision. And the reason why they require recommendation letter is that they believe that if a professor that has taught you before write about you, they can trust their opinion concerning your ability, your academic ability, or any other thing they write about there. So that's why recommendation letters are important. So you cannot play with them. So it's important that you get academic recommendation unless otherwise stated. Get academic recommendation from professors who have taught you, who know you, who can write specifically about you. And one more thing that I need to mention here is that don't fall into the mistake. Don't let people write generalized recommendation letters for you. It will do you no good. The selection committee is looking for specific ability, skills, and things that your recommenders, your referees are going to talk about you. So it will do you no good if somebody that is writing a recommendation letter for you just write, Sami Akintayo is a very brilliant and intelligent student. On the surface, it sounds good, but he has not provided specific insight into the ability of that candidate. So they need to talk about specific ability, maybe your research ability, your analytical ability, your critical analytical ability, your ability to work in a team, your communicative ability, ability to interpret situation, ability to cope under pressure, specific abilities, specific skills that you have. They should mention it in that, in the recommendation letter. And if you have performed excellently in some area of your study, they can also mention it. Your recommenders can also compare you with their other students. Maybe they can say, oh, Sami Akintayo has been in the top 1% of all my students ever, either in research or in statistical analysis, or whatever, or generally. Okay, so specific points like this go a long way in convincing the committee that is reviewing your application and making a decision about it, about who you are and your ability to fit into the program. Their goal is that they want to get the best candidate into their program. So they need to look into these documents to see who best fit into their application. And since you are not there to tell them, it's your documents, your application that will speak for you. So you have to give thought into doing this. So I wish you the best as you continue your application, and make sure you do all these things, and then you will be on your way to getting that admission or the scholarship. Thank you once again. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the notification bell. Thank you, and see you again soon.